dick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Young Closers podcast. Guys, I'm here in the studio getting after it. It's December 17th, and, man, we're wrapping up the year. What a 2024 it has been. And really what I wanted to do is I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the things that, have happened, some of the changes, where the Elliott Group is going, where a lot of our focus and attention is. And it's a beautiful thing. These past couple of months, I haven't been able to be as consistent on the podcast as I would like. And at the end of the day, it's one of those deals where we're about to start getting back into it full throttle. As you can tell, we got a little bit of a, same room, but a little bit of a different setup. And so I'm excited to be able to bring the Young Closers podcast back to you guys, because it's been far too long. It's just been way too long for whatever thing's been. And so this is like the rebirth or return 2025. It's in the business plan to go absolutely crazy with it and just put a lot of value out into the world. Me and Ryan, we plan on, taking sales guys, sales leaders, entrepreneurs, and corporations to this next level. And the deal is the time is right now. Like the time to take hold of market share, everybody. Like, if you're listening to this and you're an entrepreneur, or you're somebody who's, an intrapreneur, you're a salesperson doing something in somebody else's business, I'm going to tell you this. Right now, it's the time for you to lean in to these industries that you're in and really be able to go capitalize. Because right now, we just got done with 4 years of uncertain economy. Everybody was overpaying for certain, food, gas, housing, electric, everything. It was crazy, guys. And the deal is now it's not like, since there's new policies, new politicians, new government and all that stuff, that we think that, hey, listen, the economy is going to do the work for us. What I want everybody listening to this podcast to understand is the economy, the presidents are not going to change it so drastically that you can do the same thing that you did these last 4 years and get the result that you got for, these next 4 years, and expect to double or triple your guys' numbers, your production, your way of living. The deal is right now it's all in your hands. And so before I go into this episode, I really want to tell you guys, like, these next 4 years is the time for you to be able to get ahead in your industry, in your finances, with your family. Everything that matters to you is going to happen in these next couple of years. And this is where you set your solid foundation. You don't look left, you don't look right, you look right down the middle, and you go, hey, I'm going to own my stuff. That is the most important thing these next couple of years, is owning your business, mastering your craft, taking care of your family, and truly becoming the best version of yourself possible. There's been a lot of people that trained with us over the years in, let's say the COVID economy, where the money was pretty much already printed. It was easy. All you had to do was go out there, go collect it. You just had to have a heartbeat to be able to go make the money. That was, it was a fallacy. Like, let's just look back at the auto business. Everybody was overpaying, going crazy over sticker, and the deal is during that time it was sustainable. But then what happened is we got comfortable. We rested on our laurels. Interest rates went up, cost of living went up, eggs went up, gas went up, everything went up. And then the deal is it felt like that easy money well, it ran dry. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You can't pull new water out of a dried up well. So now we got to lean back into this sales skill. Now we got to lean back into being professionals. And, one thing I was talking to is, one of my good buddies who's a variable ops director of one of the absolute most killer Honda and Acura store in the entire country, my boy Murat, Deljanin. We're talking about this, and I just want to talk auto for a second, because going forward, your boy Jacob has now been appointed the director of our automotive dealer division. So anything automotive, with our, general managers, our salespeople, finance, every bit of that industry, I'm going to be overseeing. And so my whole goal now is to be giving you guys so much value, on the podcast for all these industries, all these, everybody who's out there. But inside of the Elliott Group, I'm going to be taking care of the automotive sector even more so, getting out the most up-to-date training. And, to pretty much take this story to where it's going to go is, me and Murat, we were talking about how the automotive industry, and this is something that I want everybody to just think about this for a second. Even if you're not in the industry, if you're in another type of sales, or if you're in a different other, business, and you're not really a salesperson. Well, number one, everybody's a salesperson, by the way. But if you're not in the automotive, just bear with me for a second. What we were talking about is that the automotive industry is 100%, it's a melting pot of generations of people who've come into this industry, who learned the process, and that's what they follow. So you got people from the 80s who followed the process that worked in the 80s. You got people from the 90s that were coming in, selling cars in the 90s and followed the 90s process, early 2000s, and as we can continue to go along, there's all these processes that everybody thinks worked. And the deal is they do. It's just that they were never improved upon. And so you got all people running, either a different variation of a roundabout same process, but nobody's actually improving on it. The auto industry is one of the slowest to change, one of the slowest to adapt. And those who are going to be the absolute killers in that industry when it comes down to sales, finance, if you're a general manager, a dealer, principal, whatever it might be, it's going to be those that can change with the times. Let me just be real here. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon over these past couple of years, and I want to tell you guys this. If you have a pen and paper, please write this down, okay? If you are wanting to be dominant in business, you have to study other businesses, okay? I speak to rooms all the time, that are either in like car sales or whatever it might be, and I'm doing trainings. I'm like, hey, who studies other industries? Like, who studies other businessmen who've won? And I never see a lot of hands go up. And what I say is like, if you want to become dominant in business, how are you going to do so if you don't know what others are doing that might be outside your market, but will still apply to you? And so, I brought up Amazon on our phone call and how just in the last couple of years, what they've done is they've invested $2 billion towards drone technology. So then that way they can have something called Air Prime. And what me and Murat said is, at the end of the day is, you've got your fixed costs. You got salaries, you've got gas, you've got, all of the overhead when it comes to the trucks, to the facilities, everything like that. You got your fixed cost. But now, if we brought in drones, number one, people are going to lose their jobs. Number two, they're going to have to spend way more money to get that technology implemented up front. So the front end, they're going to have to load it down with a lot of money spent to be able to get this idea to work. But on the back half, they're going to have same-day deliveries, same couple of hours for deliveries. And the deal is when you look long-term, they're going to be saving so much money, making so much in profit, and profit's not a bad word, by the way, but they're going to do that by being industry shakers, being people who are walking into markets and are totally disrupting everything about it. And so you look at Jeff Bezos, okay, they're trying to get it to where they can put a package on a doorstep even faster. They're in the shipping, distribution, and logistics industry. The deal is they're becoming very good at it. Let's look at automotive with Tesla. Tesla, as we're talking about with processes, they only know one process. They know how to sell cars online, put it in people's driveways, and make to make their process not have salespeople. Whether you agree with it or not, they're getting better at it every single day because they're running a process that is forward thinking. That is like, hey, how can we get it to where we can put our product in consumers' hands and we don't have all the bureaucracy of people along the way to be able to get, the product in people's hands? Can we do it quicker? Can we do it with less friction? Can we do it to where somebody can buy a car over the phone? Yes, look at what Tesla's doing. If you look at what Paragon's done with their service, they were picking up cars and still are overnight. They'd have a 24-hour service center. They'd have drivers come pick a car up at night. They'd work on the car, do the oil change, rotate the tires, drop the car back off at the customer's house. And then guess what? That client never had to sit in a service bay. Well, what do you think happened to each RO, okay, which is the repair order? Started to go up. Guys, look at DoorDash. Look at Uber. You look at Domino's. This is what Murat said. Look at Domino's back in the day when you were calling. You had to call and go check on your pizza. Hey, has my pizza, is it on its way? While the dude's still whacking up the dough, still working on it. You know what I mean? But now you got DoorDash. Now you got Uber Eats. And you could track every little second of it. Yes, you're going to pay a surcharge. But everybody right now is paying for convenience. And so what I want to talk about with all of my professionals that are out there is how hard are you making it to do business with you? Are you making it to where that there's so much friction that you're actually losing business? Not because you're bad at it, not because you're overpriced, not because you can't follow on with your promises, but it's simply because getting the yes out of your client takes too much out of them, okay? You make it too hard for them. And so what I want to say to my salespeople that are out there, you getting good at sales, you getting good at communication presenting, becoming somebody who's able to deliver a result in a product with low friction, I'm going to tell you this, you're going to get paid more money than you know what to do with over these next couple of years because the market is going to be in your favor. Whether you think it or it's not, if you had a choice, I'd think that it was. Because if you think that it's not in your favor, you've already lost the battle before you even left the house. Then stay home, okay? There's no point in walking out there, go catch an L that you know you're going to get. I'm good on that. I want to play games that I have in my favor. But those that can adapt, those that can, do higher volume, okay, and make it to where there's less process, less friction for the client to be able to go through, I'm going to tell you, you're going to make more money than you know what to do with. Because the time right now, it's all AI. It's all speed. It's all quickness. It's all frictionless. It's all contactless. Like, guys, I want you to think about this. We just got out of one of the biggest health crises of this, of most people's lives. We just did a couple of years of COVID. And guess what? COVID changed everything when it came to all these industries. Now we're doing contactless everything. Well, the deal is the people that were already doing contactless deliveries for whatever product you sell, when COVID finally hit off, let me ask you, do you think they made more money or less money? My bet is on that they made more money because as they stay ahead of times, they stay ahead of the curve. If the market changes, if the economy changes, if people's perception of how they're going to do business changes, if you're on the front end of that, listen, you're going to pick up everything that people are going to drop. It's just like kind of back in the day with like Motorola phones, okay? They didn't want to change their service. They didn't want to change their antennas. They didn't want to change how they connect to the satellites. Well, then guess what? They thought that they can strong-arm the satellite companies and the antenna companies. Then guess what? Who here's walking around with a Motorola phone? I don't see anybody. What about you? What happened to BlackBerry? Guess what? They became irrelevant. They capitulated to irrelevance because they were in denial of change. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're in that stage of your business where you're in denial of changing, where you're not going to give everything that you've got towards being faster, towards being more efficient, towards being more prepared to deal with higher volume clients without being able to put hands on them, I'm going to tell you this, you're going to miss out on a lot of money. You absolutely are. Because those that are stuck in their old ways, like the old guard, they're called the old guard for a reason. Because they're soon to be replaced. And so think about this in your industry for just a second. I'm going to bring this mic over here. But think about this in your industry. If you were somebody who's, I don't care if you're selling life insurance, real estate, door-to-door solar, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, if you're making it to where it's difficult for a client to be able to put your product in their hands, how long is the longevity of your company? How much money can you really make? Can you actually do deals without having all this friction? Can you either pick up the phone or have them be able to buy online or be able to do things through social media? Can you make it so easy that people are excited to do business with you? If not, then you're going to miss out on somebody else who will do that. Because I'm telling you guys, those that can rally behind this are going to be killers. For all my leaders that are out there, number one, I know that one of the biggest problems that people have is you got all these sales guys. You got all these people that are, mixing and mingle, shaking hands, picking up the phones, trying to sell, close, persuade, negotiate, do all of that with the clients. They're front facing. Okay? They're the first line of defense. Well, I hear a lot of leaders talking about, hey, man, I got these guys that, they talk a big game. They want to go out there. They want to go dominate. They say they want a big life. But then when it comes to the execution, they're not following through with it. Well, guess what? If you're dealing with this younger generation, like the generation that I'm in, okay, I'm a young cat myself. The deal is if you're dealing with the younger generation, you got to just stop getting them out of the logical part of all of their business planning, of all of their mission statements. Because if a young cat's going in there and he's trying to make a little bit of money, well, if you're in sales, 1 month you can go make 5, the next month you go make 25. I'm going to tell you this, that kid, if he's money focused, dude, his production next month is going to drop. Because once you make the money, guess what? You've got more money than you've ever made in your life. If you were raised poor like I was, okay, you've never had money, but then you start making money. I'm gonna tell you what, and I'm speaking from experience here, y'all. When you first start making that money, guess what? You actually let off the gas pedal because now you want to go spend that money that you've never had. You want to go out there, go buy some nice things. You want to go out there, go take a trip. You want to go out there, go have some nice dinners. And you want to go do all of this other stuff that doesn't serve you. But I don't blame other people. They have to go through that season. Or they have to learn it from somebody else. But you're going to go out there, you're going to go spend the money that you've never had in your life because you finally got it for the first time. And so what we got to do is we got to stop getting logical. We got to stop just thinking so much about like, hey, here's what we're going to do X, Y, and Z all parts of the day. For my leaders that are out there, if you're trying to build a culture of young savages that are committed towards something, you know what these people are missing? They're missing community. They're missing some community. And so while the processes, while our sales, while our thoughts of process and how we're going to go deliver a product to a client needs to adapt, so does the way of us building culture, guys. Like, you need to realize this. Can I see my phone real quick? I'm just going to use this as an example. Is all these kids, man, they're coming out here. You know what they're doing? Dude, they're waking up. First thing they're doing is they're getting right on TikTok. They're scrolling. They're on Instagram Reels. They're on YouTube Shorts. They're on Facebook Reels. And they're scrolling. They're looking for something that's going to get them fired up. They're looking for something that's going to make them laugh, that little bit of dopamine that they're looking for. And so they're not thinking, in like this logical term. Like a lot of these guys are looking for a little bit of an escape. These young cats are looking to belong to a community. Like that's the one thing that got me motivated about working with Andy was that feeling that, hey, you know what? I belong somewhere. I've got some purpose. I've got something to show up to. I got people counting on me. And when I knew that that was out there and that it was at my fingertips and it was readily available, guess what? My screen time on my phone, it went down. I stopped getting lost in the reels. I stopped just thinking about the logical stuff. What I did was I backed it with some emotion. Here you go, Joey. I backed it with emotion. I got fired up, and when I came down to me creating a plan, it wasn't just X, Y, Z, do this, do this, do this, have a bunch of boxes to be checked. I needed to know why. Like, why am I doing this? What purpose does it serve? What is it going to do for me? What's it going to do for the ones I love? Like, really, why deep down? And, like, the Dean Graziosi, the 7 levels of why. Like, I had to go put that through myself. And the deal is what got us here won't get us there. And it's totally acceptable for us to say that just, in passing. But when we look at it in our business, we continue doing the same thing. And so I want to know, where does who does the buck stop with? Like, who's in charge of that? Well, if you're talking to anybody that's out there, it's self-leadership. It stops with them. But if I'm talking to the tip of the spear of the company, the guy at the top, well, it stops with you. Like, that problem rolls uphill. And that's why they say bottlenecks happen up towards the top. And so, like, you can put all the tools and all the training and all the systems and all the process in people's hands. But if you don't know what your people are actually after, guess what? You're going to have a hard time getting buy-in. You're going to have people pushing back on every process change. You're going to have, mid-level management not be able to really motivate and inspire a guy. Number one, I hate motivation because, like, if you're going to go do something big in a company, like, one day you're motivated, 2 days later you're not. And just because we're not motivated doesn't mean that we can't show up and get after it and go to work and really go push at a high level. And so for everybody that's in here that calls themselves a leader, what do your people want? And, like, do you really, really know? Because I'm going to tell you this. There's a difference between, a sales manager walking up to a sales guy saying, hey, how many appointments you got today, guy? Oh, you got 4? Come on, bro. We got to get to 10. There's that versus, hey, man, listen, how many appointments you got? Oh, you got 4? Hey, let me ask you. Is that going to help you be able to go, number one, go make some money, but be able to go take care of your family, go put food on the table, but your kids, when they look up at you, they're going to see that you're the superhero who's given them a life that they never thought that they could have? Like, is you what you're doing now, is it going to get you there? No. And so, hey, man, listen, if I invited your wife up here to watch you work today, would she be fired up and want to, immediately jump in the sheets when you got home? Or would she be like, you kissed me goodbye, said you're going to go work hard, and you did that all day? What would she say, man? She'd probably say the latter. Well, at the end of the day, let's go. We're already here. We're already at work. We're already at the job. It's time for us to go get a result. It's time for us to go make money. It's time for us so then that way when we go home, like, guess what? The missus, she sees how hard you're working because your guys' bank account feels it. Because your guys are leveling up your life. You went from living in a 1-bedroom to a 5, to a 5-bedroom house. Balling, making money. Okay? Well, there's two sides to that. Let me ask you, and for my leaders that are out there, which one of those have you been doing? How have you been leading? Like, I'm going to tell you this. Like, the one thing that I love about Andy is that Andy's not going, hey, man, you told me that you're going to do X, Y, and Z numbers. Why aren't you doing them? No, he goes, hey, dude, I get that. But, like, especially some of the guys that are married, he goes, hey, dude, listen, I get that. But, like, If your wife and your kids seen how you were working these last couple of weeks, what would they say? Leave it at that. That's it. That's it. You got to find what truly gets people going. You got to find what gets people to tick. You got to find out what turns people into that monster, that savage, that person who's like, you can't get a hold of me, you can't distract me, you can't pull me away from my mission. And so the reason why I wanted to, make this episode and do it in the way that it is simply because the one thing that matters the most to me, and it's always in my heart of hearts, is automotive. Like, I love that industry. Like, some of the biggest savages come out of that industry, and I'm excited to really lean into this industry and really give back, and knock heads with some of the greatest operators that are out there, so then that way we can create training that's just killer that nobody else in the country has. And, in my almost 5 years of being with Andy, it's the one business and industry that I understand really, really well. And I'm excited to be able to be there with you guys. And so in these next couple of months, we're going to be dropping some new training, talking about how to build some culture, how to, really take leadership to the next level, how to get these guys motivated, but also talk about some hard skills with sale, like how to overcome certain objections, service to sales, fixed ops, finance, whatever it might be, BDC, all of it. Like, I'm fixing to go deep dive into this industry. And the deal is I want to make sure that, you guys eat, because you were for a while, but we let off the gas. There's people that used to have 900 cars on their lot. Now they got 300. Like, I don't want to see that no more. I want to see this industry not be walked around with a negative stigma of that's where dreams go to die, or, liars, cheat, scams, thieves, steal, or all of that stuff. Like, I'm good. I want to see this industry be something that people can be proud of again. I want to see this industry be something that's helps people get hope, because that's what it was for me. Like, it gave me hope that I wasn't going to have to be poor my whole life. And so I'm excited to be, the new director of the Elliott Group when it comes to our dealer division and our automotive sector. And so what I want to say is, guys, if you're listening to this podcast and you made it, 22 minutes in, number one, I want you to shoot me a follow on Instagram. It's @TheRealYoungCloser. Number two, if you're a leader or a manager or a general manager or a sales guy that wants to, get your team and get your, your company on this training, okay, I want you to text me at 480-725-2325. And I just want you to text me auto, like just automotive, just real simple, AUTOMOTIVE, real simple. And I'm personally, myself, I'm going to reach out to you. And if you're a general manager, let me know. If you're a sales, let me know. If you're a sales, manager, let me know. Because I'm fixing to go lean in like crazy to this industry. And so I'm going to need a lot of your guys' help, those who are boots on ground. You guys are the veins that carry the lifeblood of the auto industry. I'm going to be really close with some savages. And so we're going to take this to the next level. There's no reason why we can't go dominate the way we're supposed to. But 2025 is going to be the year for a lot of young killers, for a lot of young closers to go out there, go make their first six figures. Or if they already are making six figures, double down and let's go do it twice in the same year. If you made 100, let's go make 2. If you made 2, let's go make 4. Let's go break out of everything that's caused our families, to be where they're at today. And if you look at it and you're not excited and you're not fired up and you're not like re-inspired by where you put your family at, it's time to dig the heels in and really give 2025 a year for its money. Don't be like the 92% of people that are out there that don't hit their goals, that don't achieve their dreams. Because 8% of people actually achieve their goals they set out on New Year's. 8% of people. So you're either going to be in the 8% or the 92%. And if you're wanting to go, be on the news because you're doing something so big, if you're already watching it on the news, you're already behind the ball. You're already too late. You're already behind the ball. And so let's stop watching the news. Let's go make the news. Let's go be that person for our family, be those bloodline breakers, and really go take ourselves and our industries to this next level. Let's go give people a reason to be proud again. And so I love you guys. Shoot me a follow on Instagram. Make sure you reach out to me on that number, that 480-725-2325. Let me know if you're in automotive and you want to get started with some of that training. Go take it to the next level. But guys, we're really going to go dominate. I'm going to interview some of the best operators in all industries, but primarily some automotive, and we're fixing to get after it. And so I love you guys. Let's go crazy. If y'all need anything, give me a shout. Let me know. Come on.
Dick is with it, and I hit the 4-5 on the west side, but I'm from the east side.